Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Tara of Tara Beth Stamps, and we're going to try this Facebook Live thing that everybody's doing. I'm going to see if I can't get some feedback here. All right, awesome. Let's see here. Ooh, I'm crooked. Maybe that'll be better. Okay, all right, here we go. So here's the card that I'm going to make today. Thanks for popping by. I appreciate it. We are going to do this fun fold. Ooh, I need to move this up. Sorry. I gotta move everything up. Sorry. One would have thought that I tested this before. All right, there we go. All right, so this is the card, and it's a fun fold. I had a lot of good times making this one. So what I used today was the Sweet Stockings suite. So here we go. It has Bumblebee, Cherry Cobbler, Cinnamon Cider, Evening Evergreen, Old Olive, and Pool Party. So this is just kind of a great collection for animal lovers, but the back sides don't have animals on them, and I think they're absolutely adorable. So here's the different patterns that you have. And here we go. You can kind of see, great for dog lovers, great for cat lovers. I use the stockings with my die cuts, and I'll show you how to do that. But let's get started on the card first, just the basic layout. So today this is a 5.5 by 8.5 card. I scored it at 4 1/4 and 2 1/8. And all of these measurements will be on my blog tomorrow at tarabethstamps.blogspot.com. All right, and so you just fold this in an accordion and burnish those edges down. So let me grab my bone folder, just kind of burnish it down really good. All right. Hey Mary, how's it going? Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. All right, so this is some cardstock cut at 2 inches by 5 3/8. Oh no, 5 1/4. So we're going to adhere that first. And I used liquid glue because it has a really good delay time. And so that way, if I don't get it perfect, I can kind of move it around. Just kind of squeeze that up there. Then I'm going to do one for the front, side, and there we go. Oh, thanks, Mary. It's all you're doing to get me on here. All right, and then I'm going to use this one for the back panel. Normally for a back panel or an inside panel, I'm going to use basic white or very vanilla. So I have things to stamp on and it's not so busy. But with these fun folds, you don't really have to do that. You can use die cuts. You can just cut your paper to fit over the pattern paper. All right, so I'm going to leave these back to the side just to kind of dry a little bit. And we'll do some stamping. All right, so I made a couple of die cuts. This is it with the Simply Sweet dies. And I'm using the Holly Jolly stamp set. And the first one I used was the Fa La La for the front. And I stamped that with Cherry Cobbler, which I have out somewhere. All right. So with these cling stamps, I normally just give it a try just to make sure that I'm getting enough ink, which I'm not, it looks like. Looks like this pad may need to be re-inked. And just to make sure it's straight. So it looks like it's pretty straight. I do use the grid lines to kind of help me out to make sure that I'm going to get that stamp straight. All right, there we go. And then I used Have a Holly Jolly Christmas for the inside. So we'll ink that up with that same cherry cobbler. And let's give it a whirl and see if it's going to be good. Could still use a little bit more ink. All right, line it up. Make sure and don't rock it. There we go. All right, close that up so I don't have any inky mess anywhere this evening. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put our card together. Oh, wait a second. This is the band. This is 1 1/8, 1 1/4 by the 8.5. And then I scored it with the same dimensions, but it's gonna go on opposite. So the long end's gonna go on, can you see that? The long end's gonna go on the front. And then the sides will go, the smaller ends will go on the side. So, got some more liquid adhesive here. Looks like it's time to get a new glue refill. All right, there's that. We'll put one on the back here. And then one on the center. Just kind of burnish those down a little bit and make sure they're gonna stick. All right, now we'll assemble the card. All right, so all right, burnish that down to there. And then on the one that I did, I used this on the front. So I think I'm going to change it up just because even though it's the same, I don't always like to make everything the same when I'm doing stuff. I like to jazz things up a little bit. So we'll put that one on the center column. So this is going to be on the inside or the back of the front flap. And then here's your front. So, all right, get all that down. And now I'm going to add my band up at the top. So what I like to do on this one is use a little tear and tape. I like the tear and tape, ooh, yuck, for anything that may need to be just a little bit more sturdy. So I'm just going to run a couple of pieces of tear and tape here to the front. And then I'm going to line this up and go ahead and adhere it. So this is just going to give a little more sturdy effect. You can always use our Stampin' Seal or Stampin' Seal Plus. That'll work as well. But I'm a tear and tape girl. Don't ask me why. Oop. All right. And so then this is going to go on that corner, and as you can see, you'll get that nice little fold out. So what I kind of do is I kind of test it out and make sure that it's going to fold right before I adhere it, because I want to make sure that it doesn't get too thick in case I'm mailing it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fold it and then adhere it down. That way I know that I've got a good, see, it's a little crooked, but we'll just cut that off with some paper snips, maybe. There we go. All right, right. It's not perfect, but they can tell now it's created just for them. All right, so the next thing that I did was I placed this inside sentiment down with a little liquid adhesive. And I go ahead and do the inside first because I want to make sure that it lines up well with the front of the card. So there we go. So there's that one. And then I'll take some more of that tear and tape. Make sure that I get it on the right side there. All right, and then I'm gonna put that here on the side. And I'm gonna close that up. And I'm gonna line this up so that it lines perfectly before I seal that. All right, so there's the inside and there's the front. Okay, so the next thing I did was I die cut. I took my stockings die and used the different dies to die cut some of the DSP. That's one of my favorite things to do with the Stampin' Up! Dies is, you know, utilize the paper as much as possible. So I'm going to use some glue dots. I use all different adhesives for everything. I'm always using something different. So I'm going to kind of line these up so that they're hanging like they would be on a mantle. So there's that one. We'll do a little small one next. It looks like I should have done, it'll be fine. A small one. And then we'll alternate and put another large one down. And there we go. And then I'm going to open it up and I'm going to add one to the center spot. I'm going to go ahead and add that glue dot there. There we go. And the final one on the innermost panel. All right, so we're just about done. So you can see, ooh, that's not working right. There we go. So there's the front of the card and that's what it's gonna look like. And the last couple of things I'm gonna do here is you can't have stockings without packages and holly. So I've die cut some of these packages and that looked like it was a little too close on the next one. And I'm going to put these packages inside the stockings. Maybe not. There we go. So I'm going to cut that a little bit so it'll slide down a little bit more. Use a little more of that liquid adhesive. Maybe. There we go. Ooh, that's a lot. That's going to gush out. Okay. So there we go. Let's stick a candy cane in one. Alrighty. Let's add some holly down here. Let's do that. Alright, so I got my stocking a little close, so we'll do the holly down here instead. And it's gonna need a dollop of glue for those berries. Oops. All right, that's a little messy, but you get the gist. All right, so this is what our card's gonna look like. Now, let's finish it off with an envelope. So I have just a regular envelope, basic white, and I'm gonna take my package and stamp it in cherry cobbler on the front. Oh, you can't see that. There we go. All right. So we'll stamp that there. All right, and then we will finish it off with a little DSP on the edge. And I had a great piece cut already. There it is. All right, so just a little bit of glue. Okay, just a little bit of that multi-purpose liquid adhesive. I'm gonna line it up and burnish it down. I'm going to take my paper snips because, as I've heard, you don't ever have a naked envelope. Your card never looks finished if it's just in a plain envelope. So, here we go. And that's our card. All right, thanks so much. I hope this worked. Have a great night. Thanks.